Okay, welcome back. So if you have already written down the problem statement, um, that's good. If you want to send me a copy of the actual statement that you have, you can send it to me and I can have a look at it and I can provide some feedback on that. Let's do an example of an organization and a problem it might face, so you can see an example of what you might write down. So let's look at an example of a corporate entity, and this one is, if you know, City Pharmacy Limited, CPL. It's a large an organization, corporate organization that's been operating in Papua New Guinea for a number of years. So we'll look at an example based on the City Pharmacy Limited. So there's some interesting facts about City Pharmacy Limited. One interesting fact is that in 2022, last year, CPL made 606 million kina in total sales. They had a trading profit of, so from those sales, I think they minus the expenses, and from that they had a trading profit of 15.5 million. So that's still a lot of money for any corporate entity in Papua New Guinea. So they have around 900 employees in 34 pharmacies spread throughout the country. And their portfolio, so the CPL Limited is made up of numerous subsidiaries or maybe brands that we are familiar with or know of, such as Stop and Shop, Hardware House, Bond Cafe, Fresh Express, Jack's, and Prouds. These are just some of their portfolio organizations are operating under the CPL umbrella. So I got all of this information from the annual report that was published on their website last year. So those are some interesting facts about CPL. So if we looked at an example and we might have, if we talk to them and they explained about some of the problems they might have faced, maybe one of the problems that we might have identified is that there's a poor customer service in the CPL retail stores. So in all of their stores throughout the country, one of the issues that they have identified is poor customer service. So again, this is an example of a problem statement, but this is an internal problem, a problem to do with the organization itself and how it works. So that's a problem that we have identified in that particular organization, and it is an internal problem. Okay, so once we have identified the problem and we have written down the particular statement, the next step for us in the problem analysis process is that we have to do a problem tree. So a problem tree is something that we use to help us analyze particular problems. So the problem tree is it's something that looks like a tree itself. So you have the again, you can draw this on a piece of paper or on your laptop. So this particular problem tree, you have the middle of the tree, and you have the roots of the tree, and then you have the green part where the branches and leaves are, is the crown of the tree. So in the middle of the tree, you can write down the focal problem, the key problem that you have identified. And then at the top of the tree where the branches are, the crown, this is where you write the effects. So when you write down the focal problem in the middle of the tree, the effects, because the stem of the tree is connected to the crown of the tree. So whatever that's in the stem gets water, nutrients in the stem goes through to the crown of the tree. And in the same way, when you think about problems, what are the effects of this particular problem? So we list the effects down in the crown of the tree. And at the roots of the tree, we begin to list down the causes. So the causes might be numerous causes that cause the problem, which is what we have listed down as the focal problem. And then when the focal problem happens, what are its effects? So take time to draw a particular tree, maybe the shape of the tree on a piece of paper, and then place the focal problem, write down the focal problem, the middle of the tree, the stem of the tree. So you can do something like this: the poor customer service in CPL retail stores. There's a focal problem, and then what would be some effects and what would be some causes. So if we drew the same tree like this, we would list the problem in the middle, and then the effects, arrow pointing up, and then causes, arrow pointing down. So I'm just putting a small guide here, this box on your left hand side. The effects is poor customer service leads to, and those are the things you place in that particular area at the top of that particular problem statement at the bottom. And then right at the bottom, the causes, what causes poor customer service to happen in the CPL retail stores. So if we look at this particular problem, if poor customer service happens, two things happen when the poor customer service happens. So number one is customers leave frustrated, they are not happy and they leave. And number two is there's a drop in customer numbers. And if we go a bit further up, we see that when customers leave frustrated, there's a loss of confidence in the company. The public might have a loss of confidence in how the CPL operates. And if there is a drop in customer numbers, of course, when customers drop, there's an economic loss. The CPL doesn't make money. So that's an effect of what the problem is. If we look at the causes, what causes poor customer service to happen, we might identify, or when we dig a bit deeper, we might identify that the three things that are actually causing this poor customer service to happen in the CPL retail stores. So number one is customer service training is not regularly run for employees. So maybe for CPL, when they come on, when employees are employed, they don't actually get training regularly. Maybe one of the things also that might happen is that there's also poor communication about customer service expectations. So sometimes the management has not explained to employees about fulfilling the expectations of customers. So that communication kind of breaks down when the employee is going about doing their work. And maybe one of the things that's also causing this is the high turnover, employee turnover, leading to inexperienced staff. So experienced people might leave, or those who become employed, they work for a certain time only and then they leave. So there's a high turnover in the organization. So three major factors are actually causing the poor customer service to happen in the CPL retail stores. Okay, so what logical framework asks of us is that we have to go deeper. We have to do a better problem analysis. We have to look a bit deeper into the causes, especially because it is in the root causes where you will identify the solution. Solution comes from the problem. It doesn't come from anywhere else. The that's found in your communication strategy will actually come from the root cause of a particular problem. So if you dive a bit further down, you can see that there are factors that are actually causing the causes. So for example, customer service training is not regularly run for employees. One of the two problems is that maybe there's no trainer identified. The company hasn't identified a good trainer yet to do customer service training. Or there might be very little time devoted to training during the employment of the employees. So there's very little time. Maybe they are working all the time and there's not enough time for training. The thing that causes poor communication about customer service expectation, there might be two things. Number one is there's a breakdown in the internal communication within the organization. So maybe what the management expects of the employers to do, that message doesn't actually work its way down to the actual employees in the CPL retail stores around the country. So there's a breakdown in communication somewhere. So that might be something that's actually causing this thing to happen. And another problem is that there's very little time given to employees in terms of training during the employee induction. So because the new staff don't do when they go through the induction when they're employed, and the employer tells them or shows them what to do in the organization, there's very little time to talk about customer service expectations during the induction. So that might be something that's actually causing the problem. Another problem might be that staff do not find a motivation in continuing their jobs. So that's why there's a high turnover of employees, because those who are actually employed in the organization do not find the motivation. They are not like they don't find a reason to continue working. So that might be something that actually is causing a high turnover in the organization. And when there's high turnover, poor customer service happens. So this is just an example. It's just an example that we're giving of CPL, City Pharmacy Limited. And out of the numerous problems that they might have in the organization, we have identified one, which is poor customer service in the CPL retail stores. And that is an internal problem that they are faced with. And from that, we have come up with a problem tree. So you have the problem in the middle, you have the effects, and then effects right at the top. So we have to do those first level and second level for effects, and we also have to come down, look at what's first level, what are the things that are causing the problem, and then go a bit further down. And the aim is to go right down. So once you identify the root cause, then you will base your particular strategy on addressing the root cause. Because like a tree, if you don't address the root of the problem will still happen. You always, like a tree, you have to go and cut the roots, and then the tree will die. Because if you don't cut the roots, the tree will still keep on growing, because it is the roots that provide the environment or the nutrients for the tree to keep on functioning. So that's the same analogy we use in problem analysis. So when you're writing it up, again, this is an example that I gave of CPL in the previous slide, and this is the actual write-up that I have done. So if you read through, I've placed some references in there, and I've just explained what the key problem is, and I've listed down just one of the causes here. So I'm just writing about poor customer service, which is this one here, poor customer service. So again, there's a lot of things you have to think about and write. But if you do the problem analysis well, if you do this well, what you are doing in the write-up that you will submit to me is just explaining what the problem tree has. And if you do your problem tree well, the problem tree that you submit to me, it should look something like this. This is from a previous problem tree done by the Simbo Development Foundation, an organization in Chibu province. This is an example of a problem tree that they have written down, and then they have gone to explain what that particular problem tree is all about. So when you're doing a description of the problem, minimum 300 words, and then 300 words and going up. So when you submit your write-up to me, the most important thing is that you have to explain what the problem is, what its causes are, and what its effects are. That's the thing you write up in the problem analysis. So in your assignment, identify one focal problem, draw a problem tree, and then list down the causes and list down the effects. So do first level of causes and then go a bit down, and do the same for first level effects and then go a bit up of the effects. So again, always remember that we are doing a problem analysis to identify the root cause of the problem, because once you have removed the root cause, then the problem that we are talking about will be solved. So remember, under problem analysis, you will draw the tree and then explain the tree in paragraph form. So that's the thing you do, and then you submit to me in week 5. So online students and full-time students, you have the same job to do. So you have to do a problem analysis and then submit to me and the problem tree and then the explanation of the problem tree. So that's the thing that you have to do, and it's a minimum of 300 words. Okay, I think that's all. We'll see ourselves in the next session, but I think this all the things we have talked about in problem analysis, and you can now do a problem analysis for the organization that you have chosen to work with.